Number 1. Swallowed gum lasts 7 years? If you swallow gum, it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. That sounds terrifying and totally false. When you swallow gum, it goes through your digestive system like any other food. The only difference? Your body can't break it down. It's kind of like corn, it just passes right through. Most gum exits your body in 1 to 2 days. No sticky buildup, number 7-year wait. Your digestive tract is always moving things along, gum included. So where did this myth even come from? Probably a parent trying to stop their kid from chewing too much. Sure, if you swallowed tons of gum every day, you might have issues. But in normal amounts, gum's harmless. People have been chewing stuff for thousands of years. The Greeks chewed tree resin. The Mayans chewed sap. And no one had a bubble of gum stuck in their gut forever. Truth is, gum sticks better to sidewalks than your stomach. So chew away, just maybe don't litter. Number 2. Goldfish and the 3-second memory myth. Goldfish only remember things for 3 seconds. Sounds believable, until you meet a goldfish that remembers you. Scientists ran maze tests on goldfish, and those little swimmers solved them, and remembered the path months later. Not exactly forgetful, right? Goldfish can even recognize human faces. You walk up to the tank, and your fish thinks, hey, that's the snack guy? Some goldfish can learn tricks, like swimming through hoops or playing mini soccer. Others have been trained to respond to different pieces of music. All this brain power in something with a brain smaller than a pea. So where did the 3-second myth come from? Probably from people underestimating them because, well, they're small. But goldfish are smarter than they look. In fact, their memory skills are helping scientists study how humans remember. So next time someone tells you a goldfish forgets everything in seconds, just smile and ask them if they've ever tried teaching one tricks. You'd be surprised who remembers more. Number 3. Do you really lose 50% of body heat through your head? Wear a hat or you'll freeze. That classic mom advice. Not entirely true. You've probably heard that 50% of your body heat escapes through your head. That's a myth, and here's why. The idea came from an old army manual. They bundled test subjects in full winter gear, except their heads. So, of course, most heat escaped through the only exposed skin. In reality, your head only makes up about 10% of your body's surface, which means it can only lose around 10% of total body heat. Heat loss is based on what's exposed, not what body part it is. Got bare arms? You'll lose just as much heat as from a bare head. Your noggin feels colder because it has more blood vessels near the surface. But it's not some magical heat chimney. The only time this myth makes sense. Babies and toddlers. Their heads are proportionally much bigger, so they do lose more heat up there. But adults? Just wear a coat, gloves, and sure, a hat if you want. But don't panic if you forget your beanie. You're not melting ice. Number 4. Do you really have to wait 30 minutes after eating to swim? Your mom probably warned you. Don't swim after eating, you'll cramp and drown. Sounds scary, but also completely false. There's zero scientific evidence behind this myth. Lifeguards used to enforce it, but not anymore. Not a single confirmed case exists of someone drowning because they swam after eating. The old theory was, after eating, blood rushes to your stomach, leaving your arms and legs weaker. Supposedly, that meant a higher chance of cramping. But your body is smarter than that. It can handle digestion and swimming at the same time. At worst, you might feel a tiny cramp if you're doing Olympic-level laps right after a big meal. But it's no different than jogging after dinner. In fact, competitive swimmers often snack between races. So no, pizza and a pool won't equal disaster. Just maybe don't cannonball in with a belly full of lasagna. But don't panic if you forget your beanie. You're not melting ice. Number 5. Does shaving make hair grow thicker? Heard this one? Shaving makes your hair grow back thicker and darker. It sounds believable, but it's pure myth. When you shave, you're cutting the hair flat across. That leaves a blunt tip, like slicing a tree trunk straight across. So when the hair grows back, it feels rougher, not thicker. But the hair itself? Still the same old stuff. Scientists have tested this over and over again. Shaving doesn't change your hair's color, thickness, or growth speed. That's all determined by your DNA, not your razor. If shaving really boosted hair growth, balding men would have solved it long ago. Just shave every day and grow it back? Easy fix. But Jeff Bezos is still bald, despite being able to buy a mountain of razors. The myth survives because the stubble feels different. It's not new hair, It's just got a sharper edge. So no, shaving won't give you a beard of steel or legs like a bear. It's a grooming tool, not a magic wand. Number 6. Did Vikings really wear horns? When you picture a Viking, you probably imagine a helmet with horns. Fierce, savage, iconic, but totally false. Vikings never wore horned helmets in a battle, ever. That image? It's a costume designer's invention from the 1800s. They were creating outfits for opera performances and added horns for drama. It looked cool, so it stuck. But real Viking helmets were practical, simple iron caps, maybe a nose guard. No horns. No handles for enemies to grab. Archaeologists have found Viking helmets. And guess what? Not a single battle helmet with horns. They did find some horned helmets, but from 3,000 years before the Vikings. Those were ceremonial, not combat gear, like wearing a crown, not armor. The opera folks probably saw those ancient helmets and thought, perfect for Vikings. And boom, one of history's biggest fashion myths was born. So no, Vikings weren't charging into battle with giant horns on their heads. But they did raid, conquer, and terrify, just without the horns. Number 7. Lightning never strikes twice? Think again. You've heard it. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. Sounds poetic, but it's completely wrong. The Empire State Building gets hit by lightning around 25 times every year. That's not once, 25 times. Then there's Roy Sullivan, the man who defied statistics. He was struck by lightning 7 times in his life. They called him the human lightning rod, and he survived them all. After his 4th strike, even his co-workers avoided him during storms. Why? Because lightning loves tall, isolated things. If you're standing alone in a field like a tall tree, you're basically inviting it. And here's the scary part. Lightning doesn't even need a storm cloud overhead. Bolts from the blue can travel miles from the storm and strike from clear skies. So yes, lightning absolutely can and does strike the same place again. And again. And again. It's not bad luck, it's just physics. Number 8. The deadly penny myth. Ever heard the story of the killer penny? Drop one from the Empire State Building, and it'll pierce someone's skull, right? Sounds intense, but it's completely false. Here's what really happens when a penny falls from up high. Gravity pulls it down. Yes, but air fights back. Air isn't empty. It pushes against fast-moving objects. The penny quickly starts tumbling like a leaf. After about 50 feet, it hits terminal velocity, around 25 miles per hour. That's slower than your average bicycle ride. Getting hit by a penny at that speed? It'd feel like someone flicked you. Annoying, not deadly. In a vacuum, though, without air resistance, that penny could go over 200 miles per hour. But on Earth, air saves the day. Ironically, a falling pin is more dangerous. Pins are pointy and aerodynamic, tiny missiles compared to tumbling coins. So if you're walking near skyscrapers, no need to wear a helmet for pennies. Just watch out for ballpoint pens. Number 9. The 10% brain myth. You've probably heard this a million times. Humans only use 10% of their brains. Sounds dramatic, right? Like there's a superpower just waiting to be unlocked. But here's the truth. That's total nonsense. Saying we only use 10% of our brain is like saying we only use 10% of the internet. Scientists have looked into this, using brain scans that light up with activity. And what do they see? The entire brain working, even when we're asleep. While you're dreaming, your brain is managing your breathing, heart rate, and memories. It never really shuts off. In fact, your brain makes up just 2% of your body weight, but it burns a massive 20% of your body's energy. That's like running a tiny space heater all day, every day. If 90% of it were just sitting idle, evolution would have trimmed it long ago. And here's more proof. Damage to even a tiny part of the brain can cause serious, life-altering problems. So where did this silly 10% myth come from? It probably started in the 1800s when a Harvard professor said most people never reach their full mental potential. Someone misunderstood that and boom, a legend was born. But now you know, your brain is already firing on all cylinders. Number 10. The sugar high lie. A lot of parents swear that sugar turns their kids into little whirlwinds. But the truth? That belief is totally false. Scientists ran a clever experiment. Some kids got real sugar, others got a fake substitute. Neither the kids nor their parents knew who had what. And the results? Absolutely no difference. The sugar eaters weren't any more energetic than the kids who got no sugar at all. But here's where it gets interesting. When parents believed their child had sugar, they started seeing hyperactivity everywhere. Suddenly, every small action was a sign. One jump? Must be the sugar. One laugh. Oh no, the sugar's kicked in. This whole myth goes back to the 1970s, when one doctor claimed food additives were making kids bounce off the walls. Parents ran with the idea. But let's be honest, if a kid's going wild at a birthday party, it's probably because they're surrounded by balloons, loud music, and friends. Not because of one slice of cake. Even with sugar-free desserts, they'd be just as loud, just as hyper, because they're kids.